Welcome back to Seamless Xtra as we continue to explore the latest trends and innovations in the world of digital commerce.
Hello, I'm Mark Dowdall, the editor of Seamless Xtra. I'm here with Mr. Farshad Nowshadi, the consultant to the board of directors at Saman Bank. Just for our viewers, maybe you can begin by giving a little bit of information about yourself. What brings you to Seamless Middle East today?
It's a privilege to be here. I mean, I think we're such a pivotal time in history. Yeah, yesterday, I was talking and chairing a session on neobanking because my background is very much on mentoring and helping venture capital growth. In fact, Revolut was one of the first companies I sort of helped to mentor at this original stage from level 39, where I'm a venture capitalist. I'm also advising, as I said, to Saman Bank, is one of the largest sort of banks now in the Middle East, and also working together with their neo operation, which is called Blue Bank. And I'm working now quite based in London. I'm very much now involved in what's going to happen with banking of the future, because I think traditional banking we've seen it, done it. There's not much else to say. I think the big debate now is very much about what is happening with Web3 and cryptocurrencies and digital wallet. That seems to be the big debate. And it's a privilege for me to advise and give some suggestions about how banking is going to go in the future.
Given this rapidly changing landscape, then, how do you think the brick and mortar traditional banks can remain competitive? What are some of the strategies they need to follow?
What a good question. This is something that many board level members of major banks are sitting back and thinking, my God, look at our business models here. Everything potentially is now under question. Our SME operations, our loan operations, just traditional way people used to sort of store money at the bank is now potentially under danger. Today I'll be talking about Web3 and how in the future people, in theory, you won't need to have a centralized banking system. My money belongs to me and is stored in my digital wallet. And I can then transfer it directly to you or to Amazon or to eBay, directly getting rid of the middleman. Of course, potentially by getting rid of the middleman, you get rid of that 1%, 2% commission charges. Now the question comes is, what's the paradigm for banks? Where do banks fit into this amazing world? Well, my suggestion here, and I'll sort of talk about it in my presentation, is banks still have an important role, but they need to probably radically streamline to ensure that they become just probably, I suspect over the years, we're going to see a massive amount of potential change and redundancies or change of a profession. And they will then need to be looking at the idea of maybe providing decentralized organization, decentralized financials, and so as people can maybe trade finances, people still will need mortgages, and then they will then come to these sort of these decentralized banks, which will be providing services on a global basis to people who have got their own resources. So I think it's a paradigm shift. And also the other thing I want to be talking about, I think we're going to get more and more in banks, these highly intelligent AI, digitized humans who will, and as I say, I have this vision, and I think it's becoming true. Just recently I saw ChatGPT launched their 4.0, the Omni version, and Google loaded the Gemini. Then in the future, you would connect up to your bank and say, hello, Mr. Nowshadi, how are you? I see that you just had one of your payments to Amazon rejected. Would you like me to tell you why that was? Or we can sort it out before you even have to respond. Or I can then maybe talk to my digitized human and say, hello, I'm thinking of going to, I don't know, Botswana tonight. Can I make it? They say, oh yeah, I see it from previously. Yes, you do fly with Botswana Airlines. Would you like me to maybe sort of arrange a similar thing? Or I think I've looked at all your bank accounts with the background open banking technology. One can actually bring all your bank accounts with HSBC and Barclays and whatever, Emirates and BT, whatever, analyze the whole of you and then say, I don't think you've got enough money to do that one. This, I think, is a vision. This is where I think banks will have to be looking at, providing ultimately convenience. Otherwise, you're going to become a dinosaur. But the paradigm, and I think the business model for the traditional banking is radically changed. The question is, do the board level banks, do they understand that they have to today invest in the future? I'm sort of working together with some major banks in the UK to look at how we can actually transform to that state by maybe looking at digitizing some assets, existing assets. Things such as gold, which they traditionally save, and maybe even some ownerships of properties or mortgages. Can they be digitized? The whole aim is to provide efficiency, get rid of the paperwork, and to reduce those costs and pass it on to the customer. So therefore, this financial organization can compete on an international basis.
Now, as you know, with all of this increased digitalization, there's going to be some concerns with identity, fraud, data security. Is this a big concern for you? And what do we need to begin thinking about in order to protect this?
You're absolutely right. Obviously, security, fraud, also having a proper framework of are we actually moving within appropriate sort of government or regulatory issues. But the thing is that I think each one of these technologies will only become popular if they're better than the previous ones. Don't forget, today, one of the biggest hacks that we're getting is inside people within bank organization, hacking into the database. So many times we actually hear, your data has been breached, please change your passwords. So internal, one of the biggest threats that we have in banks is our internal security, internal people. So the question comes, and also one of the biggest means of enabling or value in criminal activities today is the dollar. The dollar and the cash is probably the most popular way, not necessarily Bitcoin. And I think a lot of people say, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are very, very popular with criminal activities. They probably are. But the thing about Bitcoin and things is very, very transparent. If I can find out who this wallet belongs to, I can, as an authority, find out every transaction that's ever come on the public blockchain. But if that person paid with a suitcase of money, dirty money, which you give to Fred, and Fred gives to Vanessa, and Vanessa goes and pays for his Porsche, I have no traceability over there. So the question comes is that these technologies that come up, they will have to be better and more secure. Never going to go 100% secure, but better and secure. And then the other thing is that do we have the regulatory frameworks? The one thing that I think that we have to, all the world's regulatory authorities need to think about, we're no longer little islands on our own. We're in a global village. If you slow down these progresses, if you think, sod it, we can hold it back, it doesn't matter, let's just keep milking our customers over here. Other people like, I don't know, maybe little islands such as Hong Kong, Singapore, Beijing, other places will go ahead and the international market will go to them. We have no choice. I think regulatory authorities will have to enable these technologies because it's all about reduction of costs and improving convenience and improving speed of, and also hopefully improving transparency. That's my vision.
With that being said, Farshad, how do you view the overall fintech landscape in the region right now from a regulatory perspective, in terms of innovation, startups? How do you view the direction that's going in?
I think a big wind of change is coming. We're like sort of pre-internet over here. There's so many of the stuff that we see today. People are not realizing the paradigm changes that's taking place here. So I would say radical change. Many of the business today, I think in a few years' time, will become sort of semi-dinosaurs. And the new generations will come. The question is who's actually looking at, I think very much Web3 technologies. Basically, your information belongs to you. I don't need an intermediate to facilitate what I want to do. If I want to transfer funds to you, or if I want to do, I mean, potentially, this potentially is a game changer for Visa and MasterCard and American Express payment service to guide us because I can do that. And then the question comes is, how are the banks and merchant providers, how are they going to change this? The question being is that if you can change and start planning for the tomorrow, you will have a future. I think if you don't, then you will find that your customers will leave you significantly. Particularly what's amazing is that, and I can see this in the neobanks, so many younger people are very, very much into the neobanking, new ways of doing it. I don't want the hassle of paying high exchange rates when I'm transferring money. I don't want to go to bank branches. I want a sexy interaction going over here. And I think that the Web3 will be like the next level of evolution in the banking. And the question comes is that how many banks are ready for that today and invest? And it will mean probably a lot of redundancies or change in work that they wanted to employ.
Okay, Farshad, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Okay, hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Take care.